With the Family Guy universe going on for so long, there have been a ton of characters who have fallen to the wayside. Some of them died, some were only needed for one episode, some of them were around for long enough to get full-blown character arcs, but the end result is usually they just fall into the background whenever the show needs a crowd, or they pop in for cameos whenever it's relevant. Honestly though, that's just to be expected. But I find it extremely sad when this happens to the main cast, when the writers just don't seem to know what stories to tell with them. But they have to keep them around since they are part of the main family or the extended family in some cases. So in this video, I'm going to go about these characters, and at least the characters I think fall into this. Sorry it took me so long to do some video, guys, but now I'm back. You know, hey, life gets in the way sometimes, and I have a real job. But if you guys would like to make this my real job and give me a hand with that, please go ahead, hit that subscribe button. It's free, it's easy, and it just helps me out. We can start with Family Guy, and that character that falls in this category is definitely Chris Griffin. I know, it's not Meg. Surprising, right? Well, for the most part, Meg has been portrayed really consistently. She's been the family punching bag for the show's run, but over the years and the episodes where Meg was highlighted, she has gotten growth, moving her character forward, and even in some cases backstory, like when we found out she was training for the Olympics. And Chris really just hasn't gotten any of that. He just fell into the role of a dumb teenager who spends all of his time masturbating and being weird. Hell, this has even gotten to the point where he has a video of Peter and Lois banging inside of a secret porn room. Even when he does get some level of story, it will either revolve around him being bad in school, or occasionally they will give him a love interest or a girlfriend, but she never really sticks around. And this was the one I kind of thought they might try and stick around, because she looks exactly like Lois, and I thought that would just be hilarious, but no dice. And if we look back on Chris, in one of the earlier episodes, he is actually an incredible artist. He was also an all-star pitcher, admittedly because of his extracurriculars, but still he could, pitch. And he was even a track star. I mean, there are things they could do to kind of progress him and bring him out of the background, but they just kind of don't. He just shows up whenever a sex-related thing has to happen. So, I don't know, but they clearly, they just don't know what to do with Chris. But now, let's talk about American Dad, and originally, I was actually thinking Jeff. He is just Haley's idiot stoner husband who pretty much goes along with whatever is happening. They give him an entire journey of being sent into space and getting back home, and really haven't done anything with him since. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized they actually do give him a lot. Now, I will admit, a lot of it does revolve around him and Haley's relationship, and a good portion of the time, he is just randomly put with someone else in the family. But in those moments, he will actually shine, a lot of times being the funnier person in that scenario. And he has actually, in more recent episodes, learned to stand up for himself and work to overcome his shortcomings, or at least how the family views his shortcomings. So, who is it going to be? Well, and I'm sorry for all you people out there, but it has to be Klaus. I'm sorry. I just don't get Dude Bro Klaus. You can say that he is the glue that holds the family together, and there is a whole episode dedicated to that, basically making him the Meg of American Dad, but what else does he have? In earlier seasons, they gave him a purpose: get back in a human body. They gave us so much build-up, even teasing us with flash forwards where he had a human body, or even throwing him in an episode where he successfully tricked Stan into a human body. Then, with the flippity flop, the culmination of Klaus's story in the series up to that point, and then nothing. Don't get me wrong, he gets airtime. They pair him up with other members of the family, but at this point in the series, most of the things he says even make the family on the show uncomfortable. Hell, there was a point where they preferred to talk to a fake him than the real him. He also tends to give pretty bad advice when they do listen to him, usually taking the low road in the episode. Also, the bad German persona that he also hasn't really dropped, I think it's kind of outdated, at least as far as the show is concerned. So I really don't get the point. Honestly, they might need to bring back getting him into a body. He could stay with the family, maybe even give him a relationship with Danuta, like she ends up being his wife and grandmother to the grandson we see, or lean into him being a former Olympian, or his mob connections, putting him up against Stan as some mastermind. Hell, he even knows how to hypnotize people, but clearly, at least in my opinion, they really don't know what to do with him since the flippity flop. He's just Dude Bro Klaus, and most of the family finds him annoying, and they keep him around for basically just as a pet. I don't know, family punching bag. But like I said, it really just doesn't feel like they know what to do with Klaus in general. Now, Klaus is clearly not one of my favorite characters, but the next one I actually feel bad for, so let's go ahead and talk King of the Hill. Now, unlike the other shows, King of the Hill actually did a pretty good job throughout the series of making all of the characters feel like they belonged. And to be honest, if I were doing this video pre-reboot, I might have left it out. Maybe I would have tried to spin it and talk about how Boomhauer was pretty much one note. He is the ladies' man, and that's really all there is to him. But the thing is, he also never really felt like he needed to be anything else. And don't get me wrong, I know that's not all of Boomhauer, I'm just using this as a solid example. But then I watched the reboot, and actually the catalyst of this whole video hit me. So probably to no one's surprise, it's Bill. And don't get me wrong, I thought there could have actually been a little bit more with Joseph, but I think they actually did a good job showing just how similar he is to Dale. So let's see what the next season does for him. Bill, however, didn't get that. At this point, I would say his relationship with the Hills is very unhealthy. At this point, I'm willing to say it's straight up toxic. When we first see him in the reboot, he has gained an incredible amount of weight, and he doesn't even leave his house. I mean, his entire life is so tied to the Hills that when they're not there, he doesn't continue living. Then the series doubled down on his literal obsession with Peggy. I mean, there's one story in the new series is about how he lies and said she is his wife. He's not obsessing over the Hills. Dale is using him as a lackey. I mean, don't get me wrong, Bill has always been a sad, depressing character, which was the point of the original series. But even then in the reboot, they didn't even show him losing all of the excess weight and getting back into the world. They just show him in the next episode walking around having lost, I guess, just enough of the weight to walk around, which they don't even tell us how long it's been since the Hills have been back after that original barbecue. But the really saddest thing is, they don't even show him eating at Bobby's restaurant. And he was probably one of the people who helped lead Bobby down the road of actually being a chef in the original series. He's also a veteran, and Cotton is actually dead. So there is a hole to fill there for that particular community, which was actually brought up a lot and tackled a lot in the original series. But he's still just Bill, and they just don't know what to do with him. Admittingly though, at least he came back, which is more we can say about Luann, Lucky, and their kid. Everybody else I think came back for the most part, but they're, MIA. Maybe we'll see him in the next season, I don't know. Lastly, I want to talk about Futurama. And I know I'm leaving out Bob's Burgers and The Simpsons, but comparatively, they do a pretty good job. Also, I couldn't pick the character, so maybe comment down below some ideas and I can run this video back, focusing on those two. Bob's Burgers, Eddie is not underutilized, at least not in my opinion. He's sad, don't get me wrong, I feel bad for the guy a lot, and he also has a very, very unhealthy relationship, I think, with maybe not so much Bob's family, but definitely like Bob's food. I don't know, but yeah, so leave him out of the comments. We can get to him in a different episode if you guys would like. But to be honest with you guys, Futurama's not all that complicated, because what the hell are they actually doing with Bender? I actually said that with a straight face. You guys should be proud of me. For real though, it's not a surprise. The answer is Zoidberg. I mean, everybody hates him. They treat him like a pet and a nuisance. Hell, he actually found a love interest, and they just wrote her out of the reboot completely. In a world of weird aliens, he is their weird, sad alien, and that's all he will ever be. Don't get me wrong, he gets laughs, and he's more of the group than everyone else is that I've talked about in this video. Give this crab a win, please. I think whatever payoff they were going to have after we find out why the professor refused to fire him when he cures his Yetiism just got tossed to the wayside. And that was kind of his only big episode in the original series. And there are, he is a valid part of a bunch of the plots. And like I said, he hasn't fallen quite as far away from the main cast, and they can at least incorporate him in stories. Well, but honestly, I think he just needs a win, and he honestly should have gotten it, and they should have brought Marianne back. Everybody else has couples, and now you're stuck with Zoe. Hey, so Future Alex here. I just saw the list for the Futurama's newest season that's coming out, and per the episode titles, there is a pretty solid possibility that they are actually going to bring back Marianne. So let's wait and find out. Feel free to comment just how wrong I ended up being in this video. Hopefully she's here to stick around this time, because like I said, Zoidberg needs a win. Hopefully we find out what happened and why they're not seeing each other. Guys, that is it. My list of the most underused main characters in the Family Guy universe. Let me know down in the comments if you think I'm just wrong, or if I brought up any level of good points. And while you guys down there, please remember to hit the subscribe button. It's free. Hit the notification bell, also free. And I will see you guys in the next video.